Beware. In old age, 8 evident signs that there is an evil person next to you. As we grow older, our wisdom often sharpens, but so too does our vulnerability to those with malicious intentions. Evil doesn't announce itself with horns or a glaring sign. It hides in subtle behaviors and quiet manipulations. In this stage of life, protecting your peace, dignity, and independence is paramount. Today, I will share 8 clear signs that an evil person may be nearby. These insights are drawn from timeless Stoic philosophy and practical life experience. Let's explore these warning signs and, more importantly, how to safeguard yourself from harm. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Manipulation masquerading as help. As we age, we naturally lean more on the support of others, whether it's for companionship, navigating life's challenges, or practical assistance. While this can foster beautiful relationships built on trust, it also opens the door to those who exploit such needs for their own gain. Manipulative people often disguise their intentions behind a mask of kindness and helpfulness, making it challenging to recognize their true motives until you're already caught in their web. Manipulators don't approach you with malice on display. Instead, they skillfully weave a narrative of being indispensable to your life. Perhaps they constantly offer to help with tasks, but instead of empowering you, they make you feel less capable. Their comments, subtle yet pointed, might sound like, "It's a good thing I'm here. This would be so overwhelming for you." Or, "Let me take care of it. You wouldn't want to mess it up." These remarks, though wrapped in a veneer of care, are designed to chip away at your confidence and foster dependence on them. Such individuals are often masters of emotional manipulation. They know how to position themselves as the hero, the one who swoops in to save the day. Yet behind the scenes, their actions often serve to isolate you, distort your reality, and establish control over your life. They might discourage you from seeking help from others, insisting that only they truly understand your needs. Over time, this creates a dynamic where you begin to second-guess your abilities and decisions, feeling tethered to their guidance to navigate even the simplest situations. I recall an older friend sharing her story about a neighbor who initially seemed kind-hearted, offering to run errands and help around her home. Over time, this neighbor began inserting themselves into every decision she made, criticizing her choices, questioning her ability to manage her finances, and subtly suggesting that her family didn't have her best interests at heart. The neighbor's actions weren't blatant, but they gradually eroded her confidence. She began to feel trapped, unsure of her own instincts, and overly reliant on the person who claimed to be helping her. Stoic philosophy offers profound insight here. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. A truly caring person will seek to empower you, fostering independence rather than dependency. They will celebrate your ability to make decisions, not undermine it. Conversely, a manipulator thrives on eroding your autonomy, making you feel as though your life would fall apart without them. So, how can you recognize when help is genuine versus when it's a tool of manipulation? Pay close attention to how their assistance makes you feel. Do you feel uplifted, more confident and capable? Or do you feel smaller, less sure of yourself, and increasingly reliant on them? Genuine help builds you up. Manipulation breaks you down. To protect yourself, trust your instincts. If you sense that someone's help comes with strings attached or leaves you feeling uneasy, take a step back. Politely but firmly establish boundaries. For example, you might say, "I appreciate your concern, but I'd like to handle this myself." Or, "Thank you for your offer, but I feel comfortable managing this." These small but significant acts of self-assertion reclaim your autonomy and send a clear message that your independence is not up for negotiation. In your golden years, the relationships you nurture should bring joy, strength, and mutual respect. By staying vigilant and trusting your inner wisdom, you can discern who truly cares for you and who seeks to manipulate you under the guise of help. Remember, you hold the power to protect your peace and live with dignity. Let no one take that from you. 2. A mask of charm. Charm is one of the most deceptive qualities a malicious person can possess. It can sweep you off your feet, make you feel seen and valued, and lower your guard in ways that little else can. But not all charm is genuine. For some, charm is a tool, a carefully constructed mask to hide darker intentions. It isn't meant to foster connection. It's designed to manipulate. This kind of charm is often intoxicating. A person with this ability knows just how to say the right words at the right time. They make you feel special, as if you're the only one who truly matters to them. They might compliment your wisdom, express admiration for your life experiences, or go out of their way to do small favors. On the surface, it feels like kindness. But over time, cracks begin to show. Their charm becomes inconsistent, their motives unclear, and their actions begin to reveal self-serving intentions. I once heard the story of a widower who met a charismatic man through his local senior center. This man seemed to have all the right words, often saying things like, "You're so sharp for your age, I can learn so much from you." The widower was flattered and began to rely on this new friend's advice for many decisions. Over time, however, he noticed that this friend was subtly steering him into making choices that benefited the friend more than himself. What started as admiration turned into quiet control, all under the guise of charm. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." A truly good person doesn't need to embellish their actions with excessive charm. Their character shines through naturally. In contrast, a manipulative person uses charm as a disguise, a means to mask selfishness, deceit, or an ulterior motive. To protect yourself, observe how they treat others, especially those who have little to offer in return. True kindness is consistent. It doesn't waver based on convenience or personal gain. Pay attention to your instincts. If someone's charm feels rehearsed or leaves you feeling uneasy, it's worth taking a step back to evaluate their intentions. Remember, charm can be a beautiful quality when it's authentic, but when it's used as a mask, it's a warning sign. Trust in your wisdom, your intuition, and your ability to see past surface level flattery. Genuine relationships don't require performances. They are rooted in sincerity, respect, and trust. 3. Lies without conscience. Few things are as damaging as lies, especially when they are told with no regard for their consequences. Malicious individuals lie not just to protect themselves, but to manipulate, control, and distort your sense of reality. Their lies are not careless. They are calculated, designed to achieve a specific outcome, often at your expense. At first, these lies may seem small, even harmless. Perhaps they tell you they've taken care of something on your behalf when they haven't, or they share a story that doesn't quite add up, but you brush it off as a misunderstanding. Over time, though, the pattern becomes undeniable. Their words are full of inconsistencies, and their promises are rarely kept. These individuals lie so smoothly that they can make you question your own memory, instincts, or judgment. I remember a retired couple who trusted a neighbor to help with small tasks around their home. This neighbor often claimed to have gone out of their way to assist them, saying things like, "I handled that bill for you because I know how overwhelming it can be." But when the couple received late notices, the neighbor would deflect, insisting they must have misunderstood the situation. It wasn't until they began keeping detailed records that they realized the neighbor had been fabricating the truth all along, likely to appear indispensable or to cover their own failures. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Nothing should be done if it isn't right, and nothing should be said if it isn't true." Lies, no matter how well crafted, eventually unravel. Truth requires no maintenance, while lies demand constant upkeep to prevent them from falling apart. This is the liar's greatest weakness. Their deceit cannot withstand scrutiny. To safeguard yourself, pay attention to the details. Do their stories remain consistent? Are their actions aligned with their words? If something feels off, trust your observations over their explanations. When confronted with dishonesty, you don't need to argue or justify yourself. Simply remove yourself from their web of deceit and set clear boundaries. Dishonesty corrodes trust, which is the foundation of all healthy relationships. When someone consistently lies, they are showing you who they truly are. Protect your peace by surrounding yourself with people whose integrity matches your own. Your time, energy, and trust are precious. Invest them in those who value and respect them. Lies have no place in a life built on truth, wisdom, and love. 4. Lack of empathy. Empathy is the cornerstone of human connection, the invisible thread that ties us to one another through shared understanding and compassion. It allows us to celebrate each other's joys, offer comfort in times of sorrow, and foster meaningful relationships. Yet, there are those who lack this vital quality altogether. Their hearts remain untouched by the struggles or happiness of others, viewing people not as fellow human beings, but as tools for their own gain. A lack of empathy doesn't always reveal itself immediately. In fact, it often hides behind politeness or feigned interest. You might notice it in subtle ways, perhaps when you share a personal struggle, only to have your vulnerability brushed aside with comments like, "Oh, you think that's bad? Let me tell you what happened to me." Or worse, they may show indifference to your pain entirely, quickly changing the subject to something more self-serving. Over time, their true nature becomes evident. They lack the ability or the willingness to step outside their own interests and connect with your experience. I remember speaking with a gentleman who shared how his so-called friend showed no compassion during one of the most challenging moments of his life. After losing his wife of 50 years, he reached out, hoping for some comfort or understanding. Instead, the friend barely acknowledged his grief, swiftly turning the conversation to a trivial complaint about their own day. It was a stark reminder that not everyone is capable of empathy, even when it's most needed. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, observed, "Humans are social creatures, not meant to live solely for themselves." A person devoid of empathy rejects this truth, making their relationships transactional and emotionally draining. They feign care when it's convenient, but show their apathy when it truly matters. Over time, this lack of empathy leaves you feeling unseen, unheard, and unvalued. To protect yourself, it's essential to recognize the signs early. If someone repeatedly dismisses your feelings, fails to celebrate your successes, or shows no genuine concern for your struggles, it's a clear indication that their interest in you is shallow. Set firm boundaries to guard your emotional well-being. Seek out relationships with people who truly listen, who stand by you in moments of vulnerability, and who celebrate your happiness without hesitation. Remember, true connection is built on empathy, not exploitation. You deserve relationships that uplift and nurture your spirit, not ones that leave you feeling diminished or invisible. 5. The hunger for control. Control is the lifeblood of truly malicious individuals. Their desire to dominate extends far beyond simple influence. It seeps into every aspect of your life, from your decisions and relationships to your thoughts and emotions. They crave power not because they wish to help, but because they find satisfaction in diminishing your autonomy and bending your will to theirs. At first, their need for control may seem subtle, even benevolent. They might present themselves as guides or protectors, offering advice that appears helpful. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. Their so-called guidance is not about your well-being, but about ensuring you rely on them entirely. Perhaps they discourage you from making decisions independently, suggesting you might get it wrong without their help. Or Maybe they subtly undermine your confidence, saying things like, "Are you sure you can handle that? It might be best if I take care of it for you." I remember a woman sharing her story about a distant relative who, under the guise of helping, began to take over her financial decisions. At first, she was grateful, as balancing budgets had become more challenging with age. But soon, she realized he wasn't just helping, he was controlling. He questioned every purchase she made, discouraged her from spending on things that brought her joy, and even began withholding information about her own accounts. She felt trapped, as though her independence had been stripped away, leaving her at his mercy. Epictetus reminds us freedom is the only worthy goal in life, and that freedom starts in your mind. Malicious individuals know this, which is why they target your confidence and decision-making abilities. Their ultimate aim is to make you doubt yourself so completely that you surrender control over your life to them. The antidote to their control is self-awareness and boundaries. Start by asking yourself, does this person's advice empower me, or does it make me feel smaller? A true friend or loved one will encourage your independence and respect your choices, even if they disagree. They will support you without seeking to dominate you. If you find yourself in the grip of someone who hungers for control, it's time to take a stand. Politely but firmly reclaim your decision-making power. Say things like, "I appreciate your advice, but I'd like to make this decision on my own," or "I'm confident in my ability to handle this." These small acts of resistance send a powerful message. Your autonomy is not for anyone to take. The golden years of life are a time for reflection, joy, and the freedom to live on your terms. Do not allow anyone to rob you of that freedom. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, who empower you to be the best version of yourself, and who respect your right to lead your own life. True care and love never seek to control. They seek to liberate. 6. Blame, games, and deflection. One of the most telling signs of a malicious person is their refusal to take responsibility for their actions. Instead of owning up to their mistakes, they masterfully shift blame onto others, leaving a trail of confusion and guilt in their wake. This tactic is not just a defense mechanism, it's a deliberate strategy designed to manipulate and control. The more they deflect responsibility, the more they place the burden on you, even when you've done nothing wrong. Blame games often begin subtly. Imagine a friend or a family member who consistently criticizes your decisions, suggesting that your choices caused a problem, even when it's clear the issue originated with them. Their tone might be calm, even gentle, saying things like, "If only you had listened to me, this wouldn't have happened." Or, "I was only trying to help, but I guess that wasn't good enough." These words are carefully crafted to make you question your actions and feel as though you've let them down. I once spoke with a retired gentleman who shared how his business partner habitually blamed him for every financial setback they encountered. Even when the mistakes were clearly the partner's doing, he would spin elaborate stories to make it seem like the gentleman's decisions were the root of the issue. Over time, this constant deflection eroded his confidence, making him hesitant to assert his ideas or challenge his partner's authority. The Stoics teach us that truth is self-sufficient and requires no justification, while lies and manipulation rely on elaborate narratives to survive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The truth stands on its own." This wisdom reminds us to trust in objective facts rather than succumbing to the emotional weight of someone else's deflection. To protect yourself from blame games, stay grounded in reality. When someone tries to shift blame onto you, resist the urge to apologize reflexively. Instead, calmly examine the situation and separate emotion from fact. If you feel yourself being manipulated, stand firm and say, "I don't believe that's accurate," or "Let's review what actually happened." By focusing on the truth, you take away their power to distort the situation. Remember, People who consistently avoid accountability reveal their true character over time. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and honesty, not a cycle of blame and guilt. Protect your peace by setting boundaries with those who refuse to take responsibility for their actions. You owe it to yourself to surround yourself with individuals who uplift you, not those who diminish you through their manipulation. 7. Isolation as a weapon. Isolation is a subtle but devastating weapon used by those with malicious intentions. These individuals understand that your strength lies in the relationships you've built over the years, the trusted family members, lifelong friends, and caring neighbors who form your support system. To gain control over you, they methodically chip away at these connections, leaving you increasingly isolated and dependent on them. The tactic often begins with seemingly innocent observations. Your daughter doesn't visit as much as she should, does she? Or your friends haven't been calling lately. Maybe they're too busy for you. These remarks, though subtle, plant seeds of doubt. Over time, they might become more direct, saying things like, "I'm the only one who really understands you," or "You can't trust anyone but me." The ultimate goal is to make you question the motives and loyalty of the people who genuinely care about you, leaving you reliant on the manipulator for emotional and practical support. I remember a woman in her 60s who shared how a caregiver who initially seemed kind and attentive gradually turned her against her own family. The caregiver would constantly point out minor faults in her children's behavior, exaggerating their mistakes and suggesting they didn't truly care about her well-being. Over time, this created a rift, leaving her estranged from her family and fully dependent on the caregiver's guidance. It wasn't until a concerned relative intervened that she recognized the manipulative pattern and began to rebuild her relationships. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, we are born to cooperate. Human connection is essential, especially as we age. Healthy relationships provide joy, comfort, and resilience against life's challenges. Isolation, on the other hand, weakens us, leaving us vulnerable to those who seek to control or harm us. To protect yourself, remain vigilant against attempts to undermine your connections. If someone makes you feel increasingly detached from loved ones, pause and reflect. Ask yourself whether their words or actions are fostering trust or sowing division. Reach out to those you trust, share your concerns, and seek their perspective. True relationships withstand scrutiny, and the people who care about you will always encourage you to maintain strong bonds with others. Remember, no one who truly cares for you will try to isolate you. Protect your connections fiercely. They are your lifeline to joy, stability, and peace. 8. Jealousy in disguise. Jealousy is a destructive emotion, but when it's cloaked in concern or goodwill, it becomes even more dangerous. Malicious individuals often disguise their envy as harmless advice or subtle criticism, all aimed at diminishing your confidence and chipping away at your achievements. Their jealousy doesn't always come in the form of outright hostility. It hides behind smiles and words that seem caring, but leave you questioning yourself. Imagine sharing a moment of pride, a new hobby you've taken up, a recent accomplishment, or even a compliment you received, only to hear something like, "That's nice, but don't push yourself too hard. You might regret it." Or, "That's great, but I heard someone else did something similar and got even better results." These comments are calculated to plant doubt, making you feel as though your success isn't quite enough or that your happiness isn't fully deserved. I recall a retired craftsman who had taken up painting in his later years. His work brought him immense joy, and he was even invited to display his art at a local gallery. But a neighbor who claimed to be supportive would often make remarks like, "That's wonderful, but are you sure they're not just being polite?" Over time, these comments eroded his confidence, making him hesitant to share his work. It was only after encouragement from true friends that he recognized the neighbor's envy for what it was, a reflection of their own insecurities. Seneca aptly said, "Envy is the ulcer of the soul." A jealous person cannot celebrate your light because it casts shadows over their own unresolved feelings of inadequacy. Instead of lifting you up, they seek to dim your shine so they feel less threatened. To guard against jealousy in disguise, trust your intuition. If someone's praise feels insincere or their advice leaves you doubting yourself, take a closer look at their intentions. Surround yourself with people who genuinely celebrate your achievements and encourage your growth. True friends find joy in your happiness and take pride in your success. Your golden years are a time to embrace your passions, celebrate your accomplishments, and savor the fruits of a life well lived. Don't let anyone's jealousy, no matter how subtly disguised, diminish your confidence or dim your light. Stand firm in your worth and let your achievements be a testament to your resilience and creativity. True relationships are built on mutual encouragement, not silent envy. Conclusion: guarding your peace and wisdom. In the golden years of life, you've earned the right to live with dignity, peace, and joy. Your wisdom, shaped by decades of experiences, is a treasure that no one can take from you. Yet, the presence of malicious individuals, those who manipulate, deceive, and control, can threaten the serenity you've worked so hard to achieve. Recognizing the warning signs of evil in those around you is not about living in fear, but about protecting the sanctity of your well-being. Each of the signs we've explored, manipulation, charm as a mask, lies without conscience, lack of empathy, hunger for control, blame games, delight in others' pain, and isolation as a weapon, serves as a beacon to guide your decisions. These traits are not always easy to spot, as they often appear in subtle, calculated forms. However, your intuition, combined with the wisdom of a life well lived, is a powerful ally in discerning the truth. The Stoics teach us that our greatest strength lies within, our ability to master our thoughts, protect our values, and nurture our inner peace. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Do not allow toxic individuals to pollute your mental space or erode your self-worth. Set firm boundaries, trust your instincts, and surround yourself with those who bring light, not darkness, into your life. Remember, true relationships are built on mutual respect, kindness, and support. They do not diminish you or demand that you sacrifice your independence. In your later years, focus on fostering connections that uplift and empower you, allowing you to fully embrace this chapter of life with confidence and grace. You have the strength, wisdom, and power to protect your peace. Stand firm in your truth, honor the relationships that matter most, and let no one dim the light you carry within. Your journey is a testament to resilience and love. Guard it fiercely and live fully. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching. And here's to living life on your own terms.